Write your name down on a napkin for me.
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
You know what I'm saying? It's creating urgency. They get them to want to buy the stuff. It's something that they need.
How do you feel knowing that this country doesn't belong to you any longer? I mean, what do you think of that? How do you feel knowing that when you graduate from college, you might not be able to get a job because of the color of your... People don't realize how far down the drain America's gone.
Chicago. I heard they ain't got Jim Crow up there. Black man can go where he wants. So, boy, you can't be believing anything that you hear. Time to fill your head up with his make-believe. Me and your cousin, we don't give it to you straight. Chicago shit. Tall buildings, steady plantation.
Peace family, we are back again. And today we'll be building on the art of selling people what they want to hear, right? What do I mean by that, right? As we have just witnessed the assassination of Charlie Kirk, right? Many people are upset. Many people feel this way. Many people feel that way about him. But one thing's for sure, right? His base sees him as a martyr and as a, a cult-like figure, right? So the real question is, why do they see him this way, right? Now, obviously, I don't agree with what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think it was, totally out of line, right? We talked about that yesterday, so we won't go too deep into that. However, one man's hero is another man's enemy, right? One man's enemy is a hero. While niggas cry tears and pour beers, some niggas cheer though. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on where you at, right? So some people are cheering that he's gone, and you see some people in mourning. This is a reality that we deal with in the hood, in the community, in the inner city, right? The guys we love on our side of town, they're hated on the other side of town. So when something happens to them, we mourn and they celebrate, and vice versa, right? So one man's enemy is a hero, even in the intellectual realm, right? People that admired nonviolence, like when Dr. King, some people celebrated Dr. King passing. They seen him as a communist puppet, right? While others seen Dr. King as a civil rights leader, making power moves, right, for his people. So you have to understand that one man's enemy is another man's hero. This is a reality. This is a fact, right? And by you knowing this, it allows you to look at everything through an objective lens, right? Which helps you. It helps you because you're not so stuck on just, being caught up in hearing things that make you feel good. And boom, that's where we want to start today's lesson at, right? Charlie Kirk had a strong base of people that he catered to. They loved him. They cried for him yesterday, and they dropped the flag halfway for him today, right? Trump said he's a great leader. He was a youth leader, right? While others see Charlie Kirk as a symbol of hate, right? One man's enemy is another man's hero. So, what was it about Charlie Kirk that made people, his base, really, really love him, right? And it's unique because the way people usually get a following when you're dealing with people that become almost like heroic to some and leaders to some, usually when they get that following, it's, especially in the political realm or a religious realm, it comes from people that are upset or at a low place in life, at that time, and they're looking for a message. They're looking for a figure to uplift them, to make them feel good about why their world is. Notice I said their world, right? Notice that I said their world, not the world, their world, why they feel this way, right? So, for example, when, you know, when Trump came into office, when Trump rose, let's take it back before that. John McCain in 2007 had a perfect opportunity to ride in the wave of xenophobia. As Obama was running for office, you know, we started seeing many of these small town xenophobic whites in America, you know, begin to question Obama's is he American, his citizenship, is it this, is he Muslim, is he, very xenophobic takes. And they would say these things out loud, and John McCain would say, no, 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 no. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it classy, and we just gonna have the election. RP to John McCain, right? Uh, However, many people were upset when Obama got in office because that symbolized change, which was what Obama ran off of, was a thing called change. The way Trump had MAGA, Make America Great Again, Obama's slogan was change, right? And the change was you get your black president, your first black president, and he's a change to that system. And the irony of that is that many Americans, especially white Christian nationalists, have never done well with change. When the civil rights, when Lincoln was getting ready to emancipate the slaves, right? And they wanted to go to the industrial side of making money versus the slavery, human labor, right? The South didn't like the change. The white Christian nationalists, Bible Belt, didn't like the change, and they went to war for that. And anytime slaves got rights, blacks got rights, it was pushback, change. And when Obama come, he symbolizes the change, and you have to see him every day. Now, if you're from a major city or just even in your city, you in your state, you live in one of the major cities within that state, it may not have been like this for you so bad. However, every state is Mississippi in America. Every state is Mississippi in America. I don't care if you live in Atlanta, you live in Georgia. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if you live in Houston, you in Texas. I don't care if you in Charlotte, your ass is in North Carolina. I don't care if you in Chicago, your ass is in Illinois. Illinois beat Dr. King ass. Dr. King said, man, I thought the racism in the South was bad. He said this shit up here in Illinois is just as ruthless. So don't get it twisted. Right? And this is where Obama was running from, in Chicago, Illinois. So outside of your major cities, again, in America, you are in Mississippi. Soon as you leave the big city and you get out in the towns, and you run into Big Bubba at the gas station. You ask him where the directions at, and he say, that way. And you like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? Sundown Town still exists in America. So the reality is America didn't change. But when Obama came, he represented and he ran off the word change. And by Obama running off this change, this change programming, it's change programming because it is programming because you have to constantly hear it, right? It install a fear into many of these white Bible Belt, sundown, small town states, people, right? Cities and towns, and this is how MAGA became born. But MAGA's old. MAGA was with Reagan, and before that, MAGA was, with the Southern conservatives, Confederates. That you know what I mean. This is all old stuff. Anytime blacks had made progress and change had come, then it was always resistance. You get what I'm saying? It was always resistance. Blacks being able to vote, and now you're gonna try to, uh, you know, gun them down, round them up, bring in laws to try to stop them from voting. Change, right? The fear of the unknown, that's xenophobia. So this is why college is always good. Right? College is usually good. College is the university. It's its own world, right? So you can be from small town Alabama, go to the university, right? Go to the real university, and you get you know, a slice of how America is designed to be, right? Different races all under one roof. Different sexualities all under one roof, right? You're learning about apartheid. Uh, you're learning about conservatism. You're learning about liberalism, Marxism. You're learning about all these isms, right? And then you go back to your little town for the semester break, and then your daddy say, "What's that school messing your head up? It got her talking about some Black Lives Matter." And then you say, "Damn, I didn't realize that it was racist like that." But this is the reality. I know I'm just a little bit of comedy relief, but you get what I'm saying? This is the reality. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because Charlie Kirk was my age, right? So I watched a lot of people get radicalized as Obama was coming into office, around the time I was in high school. As Obama was coming to office, I started seeing a lot of these kids getting radicalized, right? And by the second term, all bets was off. And this is what led to Trump becoming the leader he became, right? Because people were upset that Obama was in. People did not like the change. People did not like the gays getting rights. They didn't like a black man in office, a black woman as his first lady, black kids at the White House. They didn't like this stuff. Sure, some Americans did, but for these specific people, they're xenophobic and they like it like that. Right? They like you white. Right? These is white only pies. You know what I'm saying? Life, the movie, you know what I'm saying, for you uncultured niggas. So this change that Obama represented, it upset a lot of these people, and they felt like they were losing their country. Right? So people are upset and they're mad and and now when you are upset and you're mad and you feel like you're losing yourself, you're losing the country. When you now you have opened yourself up to become vulnerable, right? Where a word can come in, a word, right? And a word can pick you up and lift you up. Somebody says, "Hey, did you know that this is your country? Did you know that the gays are getting rights that you done getting? Did you know that reverse racism is at an all-time high? Did you know that the white man is the one that's being actually picked on and not you and not the blacks? That's why you're not getting that job." See, Obama messed this up with his change. Did you know that his wife is a man? Did you know that? That's why we call her Big Mike. Did you know this stuff? And somebody says, yeah, that's what I've been wanting to hear. Yeah, somebody who keeping it real. Right? And this what the MAGA party became. A bunch of upset white Americans, or even just males in the patriarchal side who feel like the country was becoming too matriarchal. Man, these bitches talking too much now. They getting too much rights. They can't respect us no more. Right? So now we upset at the women too. And we upset at the gays and we upset at the blacks that made some progress. We taking that progress back. See, this is the reality. And this is how you get your court leaders. This is how you get your leaders. This is how you run into the court. This is how you fall into the group ideology. Right? So as Trump become the spokesperson for this group of people that are upset and angry, he begins to, do a sales pitch. That's what he good at. He was the man that did TV shows. You fired. The Apprentice for years. You know what I mean? He's a businessman, not the best businessman, but he's a businessman. Nonetheless, casinos. Gold towers in the sky. Uh, Football, CBA, what is it? CFL, whatever. It's before my time. You know what I'm saying? But I think he owned a little NFL stock, whatever. He's always got his hand into something. So he sees that, you know what? I could get into this political race, as he said in the past, because people are easy to manipulate. Even though, don't get it twisted, Trump does feel like he feels. Right? He's strong to white nationalism, especially the patriarchy, right? In these classes. Now, but if you support him, you support him. You see, he don't mind letting out a couple black rappers who support him publicly if it benefits him. Long as he's one of them guys for their laws of power. You stroke his ego a little bit, to drop his defense and get what you want. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Trump becomes the leader for these guys, and all these mad. We mad. We hate Obama. We hate Michelle. We hate blacks that getting rights, and those is our rights, and we hate the gays. And this burst of Charlie Kirk. This burst of Charlie Kirk, young guy like this, who has mastered being able to sell to this base. Now, America is a mostly white country. Did you know that? Of course you knew that. Come on, man. Now, with that being said, it's a big base to sell to. You got towns, you got some, we from the South, so we used to seeing niggas, but it's some states where you might not see no niggas like that. Running into a nigga is like, what? I seen a nigga today. What? Yeah, baby, he was down there at the Dollar General. I ain't know we had niggas in Idaho. You got Idaho, South Dakota. You got places where, some nigga running into a nigga is like, it's like running into an alien. Believe it or not, that exists. So you got to keep in mind, those votes count. Not to say all those people are xenophobic or racist, but I'm just saying, to get where I'm going. As these people seeing, and what hurts it is if you don't see black people like that, and that's why we bang on media. If you live in towns where you don't see black people like that, but the only time you see black people is on TV, and media has us doing crime after crime on TV, Power number 15, Love and Hip Hop 42, the rapper dropping the album for the 15th time, that's about the same shit. We real in the hood, we sold dope, we killed niggas. I'm dropping another album next week, y'all. What's the next album called? Oh, yeah, it's called something different, but when I push play, we real niggas, we kill niggas, we sold dope. Yeah, I wrote that all in one day. I bet you did. I bet you did. And the fans say, oh, that shit hot, but your last, that ain't as cold as your last shit, though. Anyway, back to the point. So, Charlie Kirk tapped into a base that was upset at America's progression. Pretty sad, I know, but it's a big base. It sells. In America, McDonald's sells. Is it good for you? No, but it sells. Right? Burger King sells. Wendy's sells. Right? This stuff sells. Cigarettes sell with no commercial. Liquor sells with no commercial. All the things that are bad for you sell big in America. So selling hate and xenophobia is no different. It's a base for that. And Charlie Kirk tapped into that base. Whether he felt like that or didn't feel like that, in reality, I don't know. But what we do know is he was getting paid. He was getting paid to go talk xenophobia to and spread it all around the country. Many people in the crowd, yeah. Some people like, I ain't with that, but here's the thing again. One man's hero is another man's enemy. When you are a leader, gotta have security. The Pope ride around in a big bubble. And he's a pastor. He don't curse. He don't drink. He might touch a boy. All right, take that back. You know what I mean? Now, again, that's dark humor. But I shoot these off the hip, by the way. But you get what I'm saying now. On reality, all jokes to the side, right? It's not a joke anyway, not funny. But the point I'm getting at is this. The preacher, the Pope, is loved by so many. But he's smart enough to know, I ain't going out there without that damn bubble. Motherfuckers is crazy. Right? Because one man's hero is another man's enemy. If we the gods, that means it's devils. Right? Right? So if Dr. King was talking that good, yeah, but some would say, I didn't like Dr. King. He was a separatist. He was a communist. He was anti-American. He wanted to make us go to school with them. We didn't want to go to school with them. Right? So it's always going to be that pushback. And Dr. King was a pastor. Right? Dr. King was a pastor, and COINTELPRO was bugging his hotel rooms. Right? A war on Dr. King, and he's a pastor. Right? But let's look at this now. Again, Charlie Kirk tapped into this base. And that's why the base was so sad. Now, it should be sad to see any person, that didn't physically harm anybody be gunned down like that just for having his own opinions. And to the black people that are celebrating, that's not a lot of them, but it's too many that I see celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Never be mean-spirited. That's what I'll leave you with, right? Never be mean-spirited. And that doesn't have nothing to do with me being a sellout and saying, oh, well, because I seen with somebody this morning say, oh, well, y'all would turn y'all back on Harriet Tubman and all this. Charlie Kirk was not a slave master. So let's don't do that. For one, it's disrespectful to Harriet Tubman, it's disrespectful to Nat Turner. All that. Y'all niggas is on $1,000 iPhones. It's not the same. Charlie Kirk was a white nationalist, patriarchal man, conservative white Christian nationalist who talked a lot of shit about gay people, about black people, about Hispanics, about Palestinians, about Arabs, about anybody that was not a white man. A Christian white man. Right? If you was LGBT, he didn't rock with you. Right? If you was liberal, he didn't rock with you. If you was in an interracial couple, he probably didn't rock with you. He liked Candace Owens, but who know what he say when she ain't around? We seen what Nick Fuentes felt about her. right? It was. I hated to see Candace go out like that, but it is what it is, right? Someday you do get the nigga wake up call, but she got that in real time. Now, the point I'm making is that Charlie Kirk is not a slave master. Charlie Kirk was a white nationalist talking a lot of shit. And when you talk a lot of shit, you gotta have a lot of security because you're gonna have a lot of enemies, as we just talked about. Uh, one man's hero is another man's enemy, right? So this is the reality of the Charlie Kirk situation. He made a lot of enemies because he talked so much shit. Whether you feel like it was true or not, you say, yeah, 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 yeah. But again, the Pope got to ride around in the bubble. Niggas clap Malcolm X. It's the government clap Malcolm X. We'll build on that another day. Dr. King clapped. Many other Panthers clapped. Right? So speaking truths, raw truths, and causing controversy is dangerous. Especially in a country where it's more guns than people. Right? And people are really, really caught up in these courts. You gotta understand that. So Dr. Umar came out and said he disagrees with anybody making fun of Charlie Kirk's death. And this is real because let's deal with Dr. Umar slightly, right? Dr. Umar also deals with a base. And that base is a group of black Americans who, some of them are conscious and some of them are just hurt people, damaged people. Just like Charlie Kirk's base. However, they happen to be actual victims historically of things, while Charlie Kirk's base was more just people just throwing temper tantrums because other groups are actually making progress and they think it should only be about them making progress. However, Dr. Umar still is talking to a base that wants to hear what he's selling them. Right? You the king, you the queen, this was ours, we the ones, we built that, we the ones did this, we did that, that's ours. We did that. You see what I'm saying? Building up even if it's true, which a lot of it is true, right? For some of it's a long time ago, but it's true. But it makes you feel good when you broke down. Right? When you and guys sit you in the hood, you broke, you stuck. It do feel good to finally hear somebody say, "Hey, guy, we the ones that built them pyramids." Yeah, them people in the high. Yeah, that was us. Yeah, that was us. Right? You didn't know that? Yeah. Peace, God. Yeah. You the God. You the God. Yo, why? What's up, brother Wise? What brother Wise Supreme? I feel better than when your mama used to tell you, "Nigga, you ain't shit." You go out there and a black man tell you, "Hey brother, you the king, right? What's up, sister? You the queen, right?" And you used to your mama saying, "Nigga, you ain't shit. Bitch, you ain't your baby mama say you ain't shit." And then you go off in the circle in the cipher full of niggas and niggas tell you, what's up, Allah? What's up, Prince? How you doing? Right? Get your mind right. Put that bacon down. Right? Get a smoothie. God damn, this niggas really care about me. Yeah, the devil wants you to eat that pork. The devil wants you to eat that McDonald's. The devil wants you to go to Shake Shack. Shake Shack. Hey, Shake Shack do got some fire ass burgers though. But you get what I'm saying though. Right? This shit builds. It builds up people that need to hear it. Right? They need to hear it at that time, and that's how you get attached. Right? You get attached to that man that gave you that. Man, the white man always on the nigga back. And you say, damn, white man is on my back. So this become like your grandma that went to church every Sunday and gave up the couple dollars that she had. But every Sunday was like a refill. Can I get a refill? You know what I'm saying? You always got the refill every Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday for choir practice, and then Sunday. That's how my grandmother used to do it. And the pastor hit you with enough just to get you through that week. Know what I mean? And this is why so many women love church more than men, right? Because he don't really, I give it to you like this. The difference between somebody giving you game, selling you what you want to hear, and giving you game, it's a difference, right? See, a pimp tell a chick what she want to hear, and he also go after damaged women, right? Runaways, women that didn't been molested, women that didn't, had their heart broke by they, and now they get a pimp. He slow talk them and he break their mind, right? But she's already damaged. Now he can sell her what she want to hear, right? So this is the art of selling people what they want to hear. This is what Charlie Kirk did, right? This is what Jason Whitlock do. This is what Dr. Umar do. This is what Tariq Nasheed do. I'm going to find all the racist white people up in a small town Iowa that got 2 teeth that's on video calling us a nigga. And I'm going to post it. And I'm going to say, look, y'all. Look, y'all. The white lady in Kansas with no teeth think we some niggas. See? They hate us. And you know what? They do hate us. They do hate us. You see what I'm saying? This is the game. This is the art of selling people what they want to hear. Right? The difference between a person that really want to give you game is he ain't afraid to say shit that messes your head up. Right? On Twitter, for example. See, I get paid on Twitter, but you could tell that I'm not trying to cater to a base. I really don't care. Take it or you don't take it. Right? Because I get canceled on Twitter every other week because I say things that, it don't make you feel good. See, Charlie Kirk said things that made white people feel good. Yeah, man, George Floyd was trash, man. He was your DEI, man. He never went again. You never caught him one time challenging white people, right? Y'all need to clean up the trailer parks, man. Y'all need to brush y'all teeth. Y'all need to get off that meth. You never heard none of that. And that's how you know he was selling it. It wasn't real. He was selling it, or it was romanticism. See, I used to follow Dr. Umar too. I watched Dr. Umar close, right? And when I was in the conscious realm, I used to study Dr. Umar. And one thing I learned as I came into my own knowledge, and I realized Dr. Umar rarely, he does every now and then now, but he rarely really critiques the sisters, because the sisters is his base, right? What's up, Queen? Polygamy. He wants the conscious brother pimp who want to go on a date with me. So he tells them what they want to hear. Black women hate being told. Most black women hate being told things that don't make them feel good. You got to talk to me nice, right? That's why if you look at my analytics, it's like 98% men. So, the sisters that do rock with me, I love you. The Spanish women, all the white women that rock with me, I love y'all for real, because it take a tough woman to follow this page, follow my Twitter, follow my YouTube, all that, because I say things that sisters don't always want to hear. And even though I'm pro woman, it's shocking. But when you call women out, they'll leave the church. That's why the pastor never called women out, because they'll leave the church. But the women make more money than the men a lot of time. But not Trump in office now, so he taking all the sisters' jobs. But you get my point. 300,000 black women lost their job. So what I'm saying is that Charlie Kirk never challenged his base to be better. He just talked shit about other races to make them feel good. Dr. Umar never challenges the sisters because he don't want to hurt that base. He don't want to say, you know what, Sugiana? You was dead wrong for shaking your ass on that child. You was dead wrong for shaking your ass in front of that KFC, making us look like some coons. That's wrong. You owe us all an apology. He didn't do that because he didn't want to hurt his base. Because he knows sisters can't take that. Sisters can't take that, they'll leave. They'll leave your base. Right? You see, soon as sisters left Young Pharaoh base, his whole shit was over. His whole shit was over. Because that was his base. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a black-white thing. It's a human thing. Selling people what they want to hear. Right? Jeezy dropped trap album. Then he tried, I'm gonna try to get into this a little bit of conscious trap rap bag. Nigga said, I don't want to hear that. Okay, we going back to it's all there. You go back to the trap, selling what they want to hear. Right? Try to get niggas some conscious shit. Nah, I don't want that bro. Bro, where your last shit? So you selling niggas what they want to hear. Fuck it, we going back to the trap with it. We see rappers do. We back to the trap now, y'all. Nigga, how you went to that, then you back to the how you dumb yourself back down? But the reality was that the audience wants to hear what they want to hear, and if you want to make your money, you gotta sell them what they want to hear. Right? So this is what Charlie Kirk did. He sold his base what they wanted to hear. Candace Owens sells her base what they want to hear. Nick Fuentes sells his base what they want to hear. Tariq Nasheed sells his base what they want to hear. Right? See, a person that the pastor sells his base what they want to hear. A nigga like me, I never asked y'all for no donations. I never asked y'all to buy my album. None of that shit. I got shirts in there. I never asked y'all, hey, yo, cop my shirts. You showing up here for free. If you donate, I appreciate that. But you showing up for free. I mean, I don't owe you nothing. You don't owe me nothing. You give me your attention, and I give you some game. Right? I drop some books on you and all that. But you ain't got to really tap in if you don't want to. So with that being said, since you're not paying me, right, I tell you straight up, you need to get your shit together, bro. The black community need to get its shit together. You need to take care of your kids. You need to do that. You need to do that. You need to, hey brother, get right. I tell the sisters the same thing. Sister, you lost. The sisters is beating up. They abusive towards they men too. They abusive towards children. You know what I'm saying? The brothers is beating up the women. And this is not gonna help me gain a base unless my base really appreciates hearing the truth, right? Not what they want to hear. I am not a pimp, nigga. I used to be a pedo. I used to be a player, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't no pimp though, right? And I ain't gonna sell race, right? And I ain't gonna sell race even though I know race sells like a muff. I'm not gonna sell it. That's why I said R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Because I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you shooting him. I don't agree with none of the shit he said. But shoot him down, right, is equivalent to somebody shooting down Dr. Umar because they disagree with him. And that would be dead wrong. This is America, right? This is America. You know, we have to tighten up the line of hate speech because I don't agree with hate speech, right? The only difference is that Charlie Kirk did a little bit of, he treaded that line, but he went to colleges and talked to little kids, and you know, that's a dangerous thing, man. The YNs is some crazy, even the white YNs, you know what I'm saying? The motherfucker crazy now. So you on campuses antagonizing kids, and you gotta be careful, man. These kids, you know, you talking about some kids being, you know, gay and all this, and you don't know what them kids done been through at their house. So this is always danger. Remember, one man's hero is another man's enemy, and that's the danger of the rapper. That's the danger of all the fame, is you getting so much love that you forget about the hate. Right? But the hate you can't see. The love you see in it. But the hate you can't see. And what the hate does is one day it creeps up on you. And by the time you see it, it's too late. Right? So, to all my people out there, if you are following anybody, right, make sure that they are not just telling you and selling you things that you want to hear. Check yourself. Look in the mirror and say, am I listening to this because I need a fix to help me feel better about myself? Or do I want to hear this, a confirmation bias? I knew last story real quick. I knew a Republican guy, and you know, I used to tell him, man, you gotta try to hear a little bit of the Democrats too. You gotta try to hear a little bit of and he just couldn't do it. Because the thing is that the moment that he tries to get into it, he's disagreeing with it. Nah, man, I can't even give it a shot. Because what it is when you do that, you're searching for the confirmation bias. See, people listen to people for things that they want to hear and to pick themselves up subconsciously. Man, I love Joe Rogan. Why? Subconsciously, he taught me how to be a man. He the reason I got into karate. He the reason I got into history. He the reason I got into books. He the reason I got into this comedy. This that become like, you see what I'm saying? And that's all good. If somebody's helping you out, that's all good. But never get so caught up into the character. It's like if you people I'm religious because I love this pastor. Okay, but what happens if something happens to the pastor? God forbid. Now your whole stuff is out the window, right? Again, always check people and check yourself. Make sure that they are not selling you what you want to hear. Seek for the truth. Charlie Kirk liked to debate. He died in a debate, right? But one thing that you always have to remember for people who like to debate, are you debating for your own ego to be right? Or do you want the right answer? Do you want the truth? Are you debating to find the truth? Or are you debating to stroke your own ego? Right? That's something for you to, you know what I'm saying? Let that ponder. Right? 42 minutes. And on that note, family, we are out. Peace.